But during the first hour, Matt Ryan, one of the producers, ran in here and he said, you got to see this because I'd just been talking about how the government does these drills. This has been going on for at least 14 years that I know. I've been on air for about a year when I started getting articles sent to me, cutouts from newspapers, from listeners everywhere, where they do unannounced drills. And they do it in elementary, middle school, high school, college. They do it at businesses. There was a case, of course, at a chain of drugstores where they did a drill and did a fake robbery as part of the insurance company. And they didn't tell them it was a fake armed robbery. I mean, the person came in and said, give me the money, give me the drugs. And this is done to create the community perception that there are terrorists everywhere. When you read the psych warfare manuals that are even public, when they do drills and urban warfare drills and unannounced military drills and unannounced takeovers of schools, most of the time the news runs with it the first day locally like it's a real terror attack. But you'll always get tipped off that it wasn't real because it's never on national news. You'll hear, terrorists have nuclear spill on South IH-35. Or somebody hits the DPS office in North Austin with bioweapon. People are sick. And I went out there, and this was like 5 hours into it happening up at the DPS, and I noticed it wasn't on national news because they've been given the word it wasn't real. It was a simulation. They only do it regionally. They'll announce homeschoolers have attacked a school. They'll announce, and they'll go in the school and tell the kids it's real, too. And then they'll use it for a few hours on TV, 5, 6, 7 hours sometimes, and then the next day the paper will say, oh, it was just a drill. But the local papers, this is a formula that I began to observe 13, 14 years ago that's now an admitted formula. I can reverse engineer it by watching it, but then later we even get the documents, the federal grants, where the feds say, we're going to give you all this money for squad cars or whatever, but you've got to do drills this way. And it's meant to create the perception that terrorists are literally everywhere and that terrorists are coming to get you. And in almost all of these drills, I'd say less than 10%, they have a guy with a turban on or a Arab, Bedouin-type headdress, an Obi-Wan Kenobi outfit or whatever. We've been to some drills. We've covered some drills. They had one out at Maybury a few months ago, Camp Maybury, and they were simulating fighting Arabs out there. But less than 10% of the time is it Arabs. That's just the public reason they have this police state. Over 90% of the time, gun owners, returning veterans, libertarians, conservatives. How many times have you seen the New York Times and others report, oh, the Explorer Scouts are trained to take on disgruntled vets. In this drill, they took out the terrorist who wouldn't turn his guns in. So when we come back, here's another one of these where they even had kids at the school who were shot up in a simulation who knew it was part of a drill, but they didn't tell the other children it was part of a drill to create massive psychological trauma. This is mind control going on a mass scale to create the perception that terrorism is real. What does Bill Gates say? Kill the old lady. We can hire 10 teachers with that money. You're obsolete. No, we're not obsolete. We know what you are doing. I'm going to get into the economy here in a moment, but they've been having drills for at least 14 years that I know of, coast to coast, where they unannounce, come into a school, they'll tell elementary students ages 5 to 10, march out on the front lawn, they'll blow up a car in front of them, set it on fire, they'll throw buckets of fake blood on kids that they have told what's happening, they'll have them run out crying in front of the children. This is to demonize the Second Amendment. This is to create incredible trauma. And in article after article, the children urinate on themselves. In some cases, they make them stay in their class all day and make them go to the bathroom in trash cans in front of the students and don't give them lunch as part of the mind control trauma. This is out of WPSD Local 6 News out of Kentucky. And again, we see these articles every week. And it says that they got a small group of the students at the technical college, they do this at private businesses as well, to play the part of being shot and killed, fake blood splattering. And they go on to say, we want everybody's attention. This can happen at any given time, and we want to be prepared for it. And the SWAT practice taking over. What would you do if some students who are worried about shootings or whatever that are pretty much non-existent, or would have a gun? Or what if another police officer was there and didn't know it was part of a drill? Oh, that happened in Dallas a few years ago. They shot Cop of the Year in the head. They had another drill a few years before that in Michigan where the cop shot himself. Oh, yeah. And so here is the newscast where they just come right out in the open with this brazen brainwashing and admit that they didn't tell the majority of the students or teachers, professors, what was going on. This is mind control. And they have other drills where they say it's real for a few hours, half a day. This is mind control because there's no real terrorism that really isn't manufactured that we've seen in this country. So they manufacture the idea of it. They've got every police department in the country training to take on veterans that plan to bomb them. They're training youth brigades for this. This is authoritarian mass re-education. Let's go ahead and play this newscast and analyze it. Here it is.
He gets the message, be ready, and law enforcement gets it too.
At the end, I had nowhere to go.
During today's mock drill, there was 1 fatality and 5 were wounded, but it wasn't just college students who were injured, it was law enforcement as well. That's because I'm told this was meant to be a learning experience for everyone. Tonight we're in Paducah. Lauren Adams, WPSD, Local 6.
Well, thank you, Lauren.
Now, when you research this case, they didn't announce to the other students, and you can pull up, in fact, pharmacist sues over fake robbery. I want to show people that because when they do these newscasts, sometimes they even say it's real for a while, and then later they admit it's a drill. And then other times, well, a few years ago, I had a Minnesota teacher on where they went into the high school and told her they were going to kill her and the students, and then she basically had a mental breakdown from it because they didn't tell her it was a drill. But even on this newscast, they don't make that clear. But if you research it further, other students didn't know. You heard that guy go, boy, it scared me. Yeah, he wasn't told. There it is, fake robbery prompts real lawsuit. A New Jersey pharmacy technician who says she was traumatized when a masked gunman burst into their store demanding OxyContin is suing her employer for arranging the mock holdup. And then it goes on. I mean, there are literally thousands of these that I've seen. And they're going on all the time that doesn't even come across our desk. And so they won't tell you as a parent that your 7-year-old is going to have their class taken over. They've even tricked some of the Boy Scout groups into being part of drills where they're at a camp out and a guy comes with a gun or a knife. I mean, this is going on everywhere to create this perception that there are terrorists just all over the place. And New York City and others are announcing they're going to increase. I saw this report yesterday. In fact, print it for me. I never got to it. Transit Authority to start anti-suicide public service announcements was the headline, I believe. Let's see if I'm accurate. But they've already had this in these cities, and it's increasing suicides. You have ads about don't jump in front of the train to kill yourself. Well, people then get that idea in their head. So it's this idea of what do you do when you get angry? You don't commit suicide. You go kill people at a school. So they're always hyping suicide, always hyping death, always hyping. All the studies show that in the last 20 years of death education, starting in 1990, even 2020 did a piece on this, that suicides go way up. You go teach a bunch of 12 and 13-year-olds how to commit suicide when they get depressed, that gives them the idea to do it. Just like studies have shown, sex education causes more sex. You start showing 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10-year-olds how to have sex, they're not supposed to be thinking about that when they're 8, 9 years old. But now the idea is put in their mind. And so they want to go out and now have sex. I mean, this is really a diabolical situation that we're talking about.